Alright, so tier lists are the best way to make your friends turn against you and have everybody hate your opinions. SCR tier lists is I'm gonna rank all of my all not all of them. They've missed like 90% of them out, but a lot of SCR trains from so good to shouldn't exist. And as you can tell, it's outdated because look at this old glass 171. Not 171, it's a 170. I'm stupid. and, and the old trains. But anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank them. Okay? Okay, so starting off with the class 158, I'm gonna put it in bad because it needs to be refreshed. Like, it's one of those trains that urgently need refreshing, but it's not the worst train in the world, for sure. The 165 and the 166, I'm gonna put them in good, mainly because they're fairly high quality. There's just an issue with them with a tiny bit of like white pixels between like the different colors on the waterline shading, and in some areas the decals overlap. But other than that, it's a really high quality train. So yeah, and the class 171 on waterline. Um, I just put it in indifferent, mainly because I don't really have any opinions about it. Since that, yeah, it's an average train. I'd put it in good because I quite like the turbo stars, but you can just be like called out for driving the noob train from it, since that looks similar to the 357. And I'm guessing a lot of noobs make that mistake, but yeah. Now the class 185, I'm gonna put them in good, mainly because the liveries suit them quite well with the Connect and the Airlink, but it's not the best train in the world. There's a lot of improvements since that. They're both next gen V1. Um, but yeah, they're both really cool trains. Now, what train is that? That is the Class 195. I had to look a bit closer, but yeah. So the Class 195, I'm going to... They're probably in good as well. Same with the Class 331, they're both relatively decent trains. Especially with, um, yeah, the rolling stock and stuff suit them well currently. And the onboard displays look fairly decent. But yeah, that's a good train. 220 and the 221, I'm just gonna put them both in indifferent. They're alright trains, it's just they are fairly meh when it comes to other SCR trains, especially nowadays, with the more newer trains. They're not the best trains in the world, but and they're not good. It's just a meh train. Yeah. The 319, I'm gonna put that in shouldn't exist because I have no hate on the 319s since I've been on 319s before, and they are good trains. It's just the model of them is just so dated. Um, they've not really been used that much. Like they've not really been changed that much since it got added to the game, and it's fairly bad. The class 321, I'm gonna put that in good. Um, it's the same reason why I put the 165 and the 166 on there. they're fairly detailed. They're not like the most detailed train in the world, but there is a bit of like decal overlap where, you know, it gives a bit of like the flashy effect. But yeah. Then the 332 and the 333. The 332 on Airlink is gonna go in indifferent, mainly because it's next gen V2. Okay, I need to do a little explanation on the next gen things. So paper trains are like all of the trains that have the infamous paper design. Next gen V1 trains that are like the class 158 and the class 319, where it's easy to distinguish them by the seats being fabric and single coloured. Next gen V2 are trains like the which one again? Like the 730, which is here, where the seats are two different colours but still have the same fabric design that Next Gen V1 has. Next Gen V3 is like the 707 and the 333, which I'm gonna put in good. Where the seats are now made of sand and are in the new Connect colours. Next Gen V4 are the current Electro Stars, which of course have the mesh interior. I think Overhead Wise made them. And next Gen V5 is a new 707, the one that Aeroware did, which is yet to come. So, where Aeroware made them, Overhead Wise made the mesh Electro Stars and 801 and 802. But yeah. Next up anyway is a 350. I'm just gonna put that one in indifferent. It's kind of pixelated, but it's not as bad as the 158. But it's not that pixelated, so yeah. Well, it's really pixelated, but it's not as bad as yeah, the 158. Now the 357 is a new train, but in theory, the design between the 170 and the 357 in SCR are very similar. So it's hard to just put them in different spots when they're really similar to the train, to each other. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it in indifferent due to the fact that it pretty much uses like the same mesh thing for the 170s. Now the 360 is also gonna go in indifferent because it's just the Allen train. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it in good for the same reason of the 185. And yeah. So now I'm gonna go with the new one. So the new Electro Stars, the 377. I'm gonna put it in indifferent, mainly because the interior needs improving. With the way that the seat color contrasts with the floor color and everything else, it's not the best color scheme for the interior. The exterior is really good, but the Waterline and the Airlink ones are gonna go in. Well, the Waterline 379 and the 387 for Airlink are really well. Amazing trains, with the interior and stuff. So yeah, that's why I put the Connect one down there. And the 380 is also gonna go in so good. That's the one that I use. It's like my main train currently. But it was the first Connect train, and you know they remodeled it entirely. But with most current Connect trains, they just pretty much reapplied the textures to them. So the 380s got into so good because they pretty much put a lot more time and effort into it than the other trains. But it's a lot better. Now the Class 43 shouldn't exist. It needs an urgent refresh, like the 158 and the 319, just to it being not accurate to the real life Class 43. Since they're more curved and it's not really like a triangle-ish shape. But yeah, it's just a fairly bad train design. And the same thing sort of goes for the Junipers, since that they're not the worst train in the world, but it doesn't really look that good on SCR. It's just one of those trains where you implement it into a game and it doesn't look as good. But yeah. Now the 465, I really like the 465, but it's gonna go into indifferent because it does need a refresh, but not as urgently as the 158 and the 465. No, that's not the 465. That's a where's the Juniper again? I think it's a 460. Anyway, but yeah, the 465. I just say that it's a good train because the stuff with like the motors, with the Alstom motors, they look fairly good, but the design of it pretty much just takes it away from it. And the 508, the good old Merseyrail Pep, is gonna go and shouldn't exist for the same reason as the 319. It just needs to be refreshed. And it's kind of annoying that it doesn't have door chime either, sadly. But yeah. Now the 68 also shouldn't exist, but before it would be in good or indifferent. But yeah, the new livery it just it's not a good train to be added to SCR. So yeah. Now the 720, I'm gonna put it in so good. I just really love the 730s in general, and when they remodeled it for like the new Connect, they just made it look a lot better. Because the old model for it with the old livery and stuff, it looked more like a 755 in my opinion. And with the fact that the 755 is also another great Erangli operated train, it just wasn't that good of a train, but now it's in so good because the overall design of it is just on point. It's really good. And the same goes with the 707. Actually, no, the 707 is going to go in good. Mainly because I've used the 707 so much when I was a lot newer to the game. The overall design, the interior it just looks samey because I've seen it so often. I'm just going to put it in good for that reason. The 730 on Waterline, I'm going to say that it goes in good. But it's going to be different for the Connect 730 because the models are different. Oh, if they're not, then the livery suits Connect better. I'm pretty sure they're both next gen V2, but I just prefer the 730 on Connect. Now the 755, which I call the 745 numerous times because I just get the flirts mixed up all the time. And the fact that Transport for Wales are adding multiple new flirts, I think like 2 or 3 new variants to that fleet, it's just going to make everything a lot more difficult, but yeah. The 755, I've seen them in real life and it's fairly good, but I'm going to put it in indifferent. Mainly because there's some areas that just lack detail on the train, such as the little battery car, which it just has nothing in it compared to the real life one. And finally, the new 800s. I'm going to plop them both into So Good. I personally prefer the new Express one. Actually, the thing with it is that the new Express, the livery on both of them, on the 800, 801 and the 802, the livery on the both of them look really good, but the seats are a bit meh. I'm not sure why they used a grass texture on the Link 801, but 802, but on the Express 801, it's a lot better. But yeah, I'm gonna put them in good, mainly because there are some areas where they could be improved. They are both really good trains though. They are good trains, but they're not the best in the world. And I've seen better. Personally, compared to the other next gen V4 trains that Overhead has done, I personally think that the Electro Stars on Waterline and Airlink are better. Mainly because the interior and everything is just, yeah. But anyway, that concludes my tier list video. This is what it looks like at the end of it. So yeah, if you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe. 500 subscribers at the end of the month, remember. And I'll do a self tour. But yeah, that's how I've done it. Those are my overall opinions on it. Thank you to Train Drawings for it. Even though it's kind of outdated, I tried to compare it to the most recent ones. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.